Hello and welcome to another edition of DIY EV Mods. As promised, here's my 2013 Ford Focus Electric. In this video, I'll be going through the different areas of the car and talking about some of the modifications that I would like to be making. Starting off with the front, I'm just going to pop the hood real quick. Okay, now that we got the hood popped, starting at the front, this front bumper cover I'm thinking about replacing because they do make an RS and an ST version of this vehicle. I have thought about putting one of those on there because they seem to go down lower to the ground, so I'm thinking less air might be getting underneath the car that way and creating less drag. On the front lights, the headlight appears to be an HID bulb, so there's nothing I really need to do there. However, the turn signal is still your standard incandescent that you'd buy any factory vehicle with, so I'd like to put LED in that as well as anywhere else there's a bulb on the vehicle. Draw less from the 12-volt battery, which is right here. Since this is an electric vehicle, there's no reason to have a big clunky lead acid battery because it doesn't need to start a motor. It just needs to create 12 volts so that it can get all the electrics started and going for the big battery and the DC to DC inverter and all that kind of thing. So my thought is, by putting a smaller lightweight lithium battery in there, it will help save the weight. And I'll have to create some kind of a bracket system with it. I'll probably use like aluminum L brackets or something, but we'll get more into that as we do that project. And then I believe there is a, back here in this back corner where I couldn't get to, there is these heater elements that heat the coolant so that you can get your warm air into the car and also heat the battery, keep the battery warm. And I know that the Nissan Leaf uses like a heat pump type system, so I was wondering, I'm going to try to do some research and find out if there's a way to adapt a Nissan Leaf, or Tesla I believe does the same thing on their Model Y. If we could adapt one of those to this vehicle, it would help with the range because it'd be drawing less power. Also, before I forget, the hood is, you know, your standard steel hood. I'd like to try to save weight by getting a carbon fiber hood, as well as carbon fiber front fenders. Now the fenders are a little bit more tricky because of this. On the driver's side you have this charge port, and originally I was thinking that I could take the fenders to a body shop, have them install it and cut that circle out, and then I could have a little circle to use for the charge port. But I also have another thought of possibly moving it, relocating to somewhere in the front bumper cover, or maybe in the front grille. I know a lot of manufacturers from the factory have their charge ports right there in the front grille, and since it's solid, it's not letting, there's no air that needs to go through it because there's no big radiator in there that needs to be cooled off. Also thinking underneath here, possibly if there's a place that I could put a LED, like a yellow or amber LED bar for a fog light system. I think that would be neat because it does get quite foggy in here sometimes. On the wheels, I've thought about trying to find more aerodynamic wheels, or possibly creating some kind of a cover for the current wheels. I'll just try to put some light on it, and that might help with you know, some rotational drag there. I've also thought about trying to put Tesla wheels on it because their wheels are designed to be more aerodynamic than these ones are. However, the bolt pattern is different, so that wouldn't be like a direct bolt on, and there might be like some adapter or something I could build or buy. but I think after putting the adapter on there, it would just add more weight than it would really save in your range. Also thought about getting some drilled and slotted rotors. My thought there is obviously they'd be the same size and everything because they're vehicle specific, but if they had the slots and the holes drilled in them, it would weigh less, which might help with some of the range. Also inside, in the suspension on the front and the back, you have your various control arms and drag links and trailing arms and things that can be purchased with a more heavy-duty bushing in there over the stock rubber ones. So my thought is the power being applied to the wheels more would make it to the wheel because you have less movement in the suspension, thus putting more power to the ground. Also would like to put some lowering springs on this, possibly lowering springs and Koni adjustable struts. Koni does make a kit with a strut and the spring, but that's rather expensive. But I did find a company that has just the lowering springs, and they're a lot better priced. Again, with the side of the vehicle, you got bulbs there, and there's also a puddle lamp. When you open the door, lights shines on the ground. I like to do LED those. On the side here, you've got all this chrome because these are titanium package. It comes with this. I'm thinking that it comes with the chrome because all the Focus Electrics have the titanium package on them. And again, with the rears, drilled and slotted rotors and the upgraded bushings. And I'm going to move to the back. Okay, now that I'm at the back of the vehicle, again with the lights, I'd like to do all LEDs back here. Turn stop and tail, possibly third brake light if it's not already LED, license plate light. And also I'd like to do a carbon fiber rear hatch. And I was thinking with this glass, it might be possible to get like a plexiglass or Lexicon glass that would be just as strong, if not stronger than the glass, and then also weigh less. And then I've also thought about possibly doing the rear wiper delete, so getting rid of all the weight from the wiper motor and the wiper blade and any of the components, other components that might be in there. And then same thing with these rear windows, doing some sort of different type of plexiglass to lower the weight on those as well. And underneath the vehicle, Ford did a very good job of creating a flat spot, except for back here. So what I'm thinking is that air might be coming up and catching into this rear bumper cover and creating drag, possibly even kind of making it almost like a parachute back here. But so I'd like to use maybe some kind of a corrugated plastic possibly to make this back here more flat. And then that might also mean that I need to replace this here because it might be hanging down too low. So if I can build some kind of a box that's smaller and made possibly out of fiberglass, save some weight there. Which I've already taken out there was like this styrofoam piece in there that held the tire inflator and the little hook that you use for when you're towing the vehicle. I've taken that out because it was just taking up space, and then I just replaced it with I always carry a blanket with me all the time anyway, so I just put a blanket down there and then put the tire inflator in there. That way the tire inflator is not moving around. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if there are any items that you think I missed,